Even though the Sennheiser PXC 552s have a lot of shortcomings for headphones in 2019, I strangely still really enjoy them. But when it comes to choosing between the Sennheiser PXC 552s and the Sennheiser Momentum 3s, it's almost like two completely different companies made these headphones, because almost everything about them, even down to the included accessories, is completely different on these headphones.
Now, if we were to look at the Sony XB900N or the Sony 1000 XM3s, these headphones have a lot of things in common, like their overall design and feature sets. And even though they each target a different section of the market, you can clearly tell that they're still part of the same family. But that's not the case with the PXC 552s and the Momentum 3s. But nonetheless, if you want to pick these headphones up, they will be linked down below. And if you want to learn more about either of these headphones, please watch the full reviews, because we're only going to be going over the main differences here. So first off, I want to address the included accessories. Like I've said before, Sennheiser really needs to step up with their carrying cases. Both the PXC 552s and Momentum 3s come with crappy and floppy carrying cases that just don't stack up with all of the other included carrying cases out there. When you're paying $350 for the PXC 552s and $400 for the Momentum 3s, a decent hardshell carrying case is to be expected. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the cables, because it's a bigger deal than you might actually think. Both of these headphones come included with a 3.5 to 2.5mm audio cable, but they're slightly different from one another. The PXC 552's cable is slightly thicker, so it feels a little more durable. And the PXC 552s also come included with an airplane adapter, whereas the Momentum 3s don't, but personally, I don't really care. But what I do care about are the charging cables. The PXC 552s come included with a micro USB to USB-A charging cable, because they're still charging via a micro USB port. Whereas the Momentum 3s come included with a 3-foot long USB-C to USB-C cable. Obviously, you can use this cable for charging, but you can also use this USB-C cable as a wired connection if you have an Android device, which is pretty cool and great for audiophiles. Even though I doubt that a large amount of people will be using the USB-C port on their headphones as a wired connection, it would have still been nice if the PXC 552s kept up with the rest of the competition and upgraded to a USB-C port so that Android users could charge their phone and headphones with the same cable. And even still, USB-C is the way everything else is going. Now, when it comes to the headphones themselves, the build quality on the Momentum 3s is vastly superior than the PXC 552s. It's not even close. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the overall look of these headphones, the overall finish and exposed metal on these headphones looks great, and one of my favorite things about these headphones, build quality wise, is their real sheepskin leather found on the ear pads and headband. It just feels buttery smooth, and the synthetic stuff all other headphones have just doesn't compare. Whereas the PXC 552s, on the other hand, feel pretty cheap in general. The plastic used on these headphones is very lightweight, the leatherette on the headband and ear pads feels very synthetic, and the way these ear cups swivel just feel very clunky. But when it comes to comfort, the PXC 552s are vastly superior to the Momentum 3s. They rest much more naturally on your head, and their ear cups are more spacious as well. Like I've said in the past, the PXC 552s are possibly the second most comfortable headphones out there, second only to the Bose QC35s. But another reason why the PXC 552s are so comfortable is because they're so lightweight, weighing in at 230 grams, way lighter than a lot of other headphones out there in this price range. Whereas the Momentum 3s weigh in at a hefty 305 grams. The PXC 552's light weight make them very easy to forget that you have them on, whereas with the Momentum 3s, you can wear them for hours on end, but you never really forget that they're there. So the PXC 552's light weight is one of the main reasons why I choose to look past their so-so build quality. Overall, both of these headphones are big head approved, but if I had to choose one for a long flight, I'm going with the PXC 552s, hands down.
Now, when it comes to tech specs, both of Sennheiser's headphones have pretty lackluster battery lives when compared to the rest of the competition. Now, the Sennheiser Momentum 3s have an advertised battery life of 17 hours, but I can usually only go about 4 days in between charges with these headphones, which isn't really all that impressive. whereas the PXC 552s have an advertised battery life of 30 hours, but that's when they're used with a wired connection. If you use these headphones wirelessly, which I'm willing to bet that the majority of people are going to be doing, these headphones have an advertised battery life of 20 hours, and I can go a week in between charges with these headphones, which is acceptable, but I really do think that both of these headphones could do better. Regarding Bluetooth connectivity, both of these headphones are rocking Bluetooth 5.0, and they can both be connected to two devices at the same time. So you can easily hot swap from one device to another, which is always great for power users. And when it comes to audio codecs, both of these headphones have aptX and aptX low latency support, and they both obviously have AAC support.
Now, when it comes to listening to music with these headphones sound very different. They both sound good, but they have very different characteristics. The PXC 552s are a pair of very neutral sounding headphones. There's a slight emphasis on the mids and vocals on these headphones, but it's very important to keep in mind that the bass on these headphones can only mostly be heard and not felt. So if you're someone that likes to physically feel your bass, then these headphones are not for you. Now, the PXC 552s have a somewhat adjustable EQ, and you can raise the bass on these headphones, but they're just not going to kick against your head like I know some people are looking for. And besides, I think that these headphones sound best with their stock neutral EQ. Now, when it comes to the Momentum 3s, I also think that they sound best when they're set to their stock neutral EQ. Now, like the PXC 552s, these headphones also put a slight emphasis on the vocals and mids, but from a characteristic standpoint, the soundstage is significantly wider in these headphones, and their instrument separation is a lot better as well. But the biggest difference on these headphones from the PXC 552s is their bass. The bass on the Momentum 3s really likes to resonate a lot more, which is fun. So if you're someone that appreciates a neutral sound signature like I do, but still wants to physically feel the bass, then these are a good option. And if I had to choose between either of these two headphones sound quality wise, I'm going with the Momentum 3s. Now, when it comes to controlling your music, the PXC 552s are using the touchpad, which is actually a really good touchpad. It's very easy to find, easy to use, and very accurate. But if you don't want to put up with the touchpad, then the Momentum 3s have your back because they're still using physical buttons. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on these headphones. Just from the sheer bulkiness of the Momentum 3s, I doubt that a lot of people would be getting these as their daily commuter headphones. So it really comes to as no surprise to me that the ANC on the PXC 552s clearly outperforms the Momentum 3s. But so that you can see for yourself, we're gonna jump into an ANC test. Like you may have just seen, when it comes to road noise, the PXC 552s just barely managed to block out a little more noise than the Momentum 3s. But when it comes to chatter, the PXC 552s block out way more noise. The PXC 552s almost block out as much chatter as the Sony 1000 and XM3s, which is really saying something. And overall, the ANC on the PXC 552s is decent because it blocks out a noticeable amount of chatter with barely any cabin pressure. Like seriously, if you're somebody that's very sensitive to cabin pressure, then you might want to check these out. I just wish that these headphones did a better job of blocking out road noise. But now I want to address the ambient mode on the PXC 552s. With the PXC 552s, if you double tap on their touchpad, they'll mute your music and pump in the ambient sound around you so that you can quickly talk to someone without having to take your headphones off like this. Now, the Momentum 3s can also do this, and so can a lot of other headphones out there. But with the PXC 552s, you can't have ambient mode turned on and play music at the same time like you can with the Momentum 3s, like this. I just find it very odd that you can't do this with the PXC 552s, because it's clear that Sennheiser is trying to position the PXC 552s as their go-to travel headphones. But a crucial feature for any pair of travel headphones is an adjustable ambient mode so that you can still hear your surroundings when you're listening to music while you're either walking around the city or waiting in an airport terminal. If Sennheiser wants to be competitive, they need to put out a firmware update that adds an ambient mode to their headphones.
And finally, when it comes to the microphone on these headphones for phone calls, the Sennheiser Momentum 3 sound pretty bad because there's a lot of amplification going on. Whereas the PXC 552s just sound way better. Now, S's do tend to peak a little bit, but other than that, the microphone on these headphones is definitely usable. And also, the microphone on these headphones actually sounds a lot better than a lot of other headphones out there, minus the Bose NC700s.
So overall, even though the PXC 552s and Momentum 3s are from the same company, they are very different from one another. It's like two completely different teams made them and didn't even bother to communicate with one another. And in general, Sennheiser really needs to get it together because their headphones just barely manage to keep up with the competition. Now, I think the Momentum 3s are a good pair of at-home headphones that you might occasionally use to travel with. Their active noise cancellation isn't all that impressive, and they could be more comfortable. But I can't deny that these headphones sound great, and I really like their build quality. Whereas the PXC 552s are much better suited for traveling. Even though these headphones are not better than the Sony 1000 XM3s or Bose NC700s, feature set wise, these are a good alternative if neither of the latter fit you well. The Sonys have cramped ear cups and the Bose have a little too much clamping force. But the Sennheiser PXC 552s are a pair of headphones I would feel more comfortable picking up if they were on sale. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick any of the products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.